So it's official, people. It's almost been 1 year since the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S hit the shelves last year. What the fuck has changed? Not a hell of a lot. Both the PS5 and the Series X are still impossible to find. Scalpers keep buying them before they go on sale, and there's still a massive chip shortage worldwide. Like, they gotta stop these fucking scalpers from doing this, man. It's gonna get to a point where people are gonna need this shit soon, cause they'll stop making games for Xbox One and PS4. And they're gonna come looking for these, and they're not gonna be there. And they're going to be, may I add, pissed as hell. Now, AMD has come out and said that the chip shortage is going to end possibly by the end of 2023, but that's still a very long way off, so buckle up, honestly, you're gonna see these consoles hard to find for a little while more. So in the meantime, it's time to discuss exactly what I've learnt in the first year of owning these consoles. Now, I have seen firsthand the power of Xbox Series X and S and the power of PlayStation 5, and I gotta say, I'm actually quite impressed this time round. Although there was a few things missing at the very beginning, slowly as I got through the year, more and more features started to come online, and I actually started to visualize them a little bit more. And I'm gonna be honest with you, they're actually both evenly matched. One's not powerfuler than the other, it's only by a small, tiny amount. Both consoles you get 4K HDR up to 60 frames per second, or 120 frames per second with HDMI 2.1, and you also get real-time ray tracing up to 60 frames per second in 4K HDR as well. With the PlayStation 5 accessory line, you've got the DualSense wireless controller with the haptic feedback and adaptive resistance. You got your media remote, your 3D Tech audio headset, which I actually own. I've tested firsthand the PCIe Gen 4 SSD, and I have tested the hard drive USB support that also stores PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 games together. For the Xbox Series X, I've tested the new version of their wireless controller, which kind of felt like the same as Xbox One, just a bit of a design change there. Tested the new Xbox Audio wireless headset, their official one, which sounds so fucking amazing with Dolby Atmos, it's not funny. And I've tested the 1TB expansion card that plugs into the back of Series X or S, which you can play games on and store games on, which takes about 10 minutes to copy a 100GB game across, and a few minutes to read it when you plug it in the back of your console. I have had issues with plugging this card in and out of the Series X or the Series S and then it not reading properly. When that happens, you give it a couple of minutes and it seems to be the workaround for that problem specifically. But above all, in terms of expandability for storage, both consoles did a very good job there of utilizing their particular way of storage, especially with the expansion slot of PlayStation 5 and the card that plugs into the back of Series X. Now, in terms of games for both the PlayStation 5 and Series X that I've owned, if you didn't read my Facebook post some time ago that I made, this has been confirmed. And it's the biggest games lineup I've ever had in the history of console launches. In my professional record, 20 games since launch, 10 on each platform, each of them different and defined as one another, each with different genres and different types of storytelling, with about 2 or 3 of them implementing real-time ray tracing. Most of them were free upgrades from existing games I owned last generations, and got next-gen improvements and got real-time ray tracing. I will release the list of these games in the description below. In terms of the software design and navigation, it's pretty easy to adjust to if you've used a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One, because it works kind of the exact similar way, especially on Xbox using the same dashboard from Xbox One, but giving it a nice 4K polish up to make it look good on a 4K screen. If you're a new PlayStation 5 user who's just moved from PlayStation 4, you'll also notice that the navigation buttons on the dashboard too will be a little bit different than PlayStation 4, but not really that much different. You'll memorize it quickly enough. In terms of overall console design, PlayStation 5 being a white matte type paint on those side panels can be easily damaged if moved or handled the wrong way. The only flaw I found with that was if you moved it in a certain direction or accidentally snapped something a certain way, it can be accidentally scratched just by mere luck. And I mean by mere luck. You cannot own a PlayStation 5 and not have it damaged. So many people have fallen into that category. You're not the only one. You'll also notice it getting its wear and tear as well after a few months of owning it, same as Xbox Series X. But the Xbox Series X was a better design because not only was it smaller, being the Xbox Series X or S, it was actually more betterly constructed out of better materials, and it was actually not as cost effective as the PlayStation 5 was. And the presence of mouse and keyboard support for the Series X was also a big sell as well. I cannot begin to describe to you what an awesome experience that was. I'm actually going to talk about that in another video. But the paint is the same construction as the PlayStation 5 and can also be easily scratched or accidentally damaged as well. So don't freak out if you accidentally damage either your PlayStation 5 or your Series X. It's normal. It's part of the console's lifespan. Don't panic. As long as the console works on the inside, you're gonna be just fine, honestly. The controllers too for both platforms are actually pretty durable and well constructed as well. They're going to last you a really long time. As long as you don't knock them around, they'll last you quite a few years. They did a very good job in terms of designing the controllers there. For the cooling system, there is a flaw on the PlayStation 5, and it's the same with all PlayStations that have ever existed, because they still use classic fan cooling systems instead of vapor chamber cooling tech that Series X uses. And that is, you cannot run this console on a 50-degree day or a 35-degree day without it overheating. You have to stick a fan on it. Otherwise, you can't do precisely, may I add, dick. The Xbox Series S can fall under that same category, but the Xbox Series X, no way. It is designed to handle hot weather. You got a vapor chamber cooling system in that console. There's no way in hell that's going to overheat on a 50-degree day. Safest fucking console in the world to use in the summertime. It's also got all the USB ports and Ethernet ports I think you'll ever honestly need with a console. You're not going to need a USB hub to power like 6 USB devices. It's going to have enough USB and enough wireless shit to keep you at bay. With the implementation of USB Type-C and USB 3.0, you're actually able to charge things a lot faster nowadays, especially controllers and wireless headsets, as it only takes 2 or 3 hours to charge them wirelessly nowadays. It's actually somewhat of an improvement compared to last gen. After owning PlayStation 5 and Series X for round about a year now, after paying $750 for each console, I'm honestly a happy camper. To be completely straightforward here, I think they did a good job. I think they did a great job in launching PlayStation 5 and Series X and S last year. I think they did a great job in launching the two consoles and marketing them the way they did. It's just a shame they fell to the scalpers, which unfortunately nobody can really find one at the moment. But apart from that, it's been a pretty successful launch. Nothing has gone wrong in terms of technical problems or hardware issues, and above all, no bugs or issue much of any kind. There is fuck all wrong with these consoles when you buy them. But here's the serious question. Out of the two consoles that I have owned, which one was truly the best one? Which one did I like the most, and which one was the best one that ran games the best, had the best hardware, did all the things that was necessary, and above all was the most reliable console out there. Xbox is the victor this time round, no doubt. But PlayStation 5 sold way more units than Xbox did, and was more of a marketing success because PlayStation, believe it or not, is actually the most best next-gen experience you can buy that felt like a next-generation experience, where Xbox kind of felt the same as the previous generation before it, and wasn't very interesting because it launched with no games at the time. It was late to the party in terms of first-party titles. But as always, PlayStation 5 is the ideal console for the best price. And there's nothing more that needs to be said. Sony, Microsoft, thank you both for giving me the chance to experience this. I will never forget it in the days that I am alive. It was an honor and a privilege to be a part of one of the biggest console launches you've ever done in history, you two. I'm glad you partnered up. I'm glad you're not rivals anymore. And I'm glad to see us both working together and coming together with multiplayer games. And I cannot wait to see what the rest of this year and well into next year brings. This is Dark Souls GUIX here on YouTube. Have a good one.